Your words matter. When you say certain things, you tweet certain things, you say certain things in interviews, even if you didn't mean it, people are going to take what you said and try to convolute it, try to misconstrue it and all these things. But you did that on your own. Hey, what's good, folks? You know what it is. It's your boy Jay. Like to welcome you to the channel today. And I got another video for you today. Al Sharpton goes in on Representative Donalds for what he said about Jim Crow. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I first heard these comments, I was like, what in God's green earth made this man say this? He's been getting it from all angles, from Congress to different people online, talking about what he said. So let's get to Al Sharpton's interview, which is from MSNBC. Let's get to it. Fair use. Fair use.
Congressman, welcome to the show. You just heard what Congressman Vesey had to say about your comments. You've also been criticized by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and the head of the DNC, Jamie Harrison, both of them black. One of them black from Brooklyn. You were born in Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn. What's your response?
My response is that it's very interesting how people can just lie and mischaracterize what I said. The video's on my social media. Go to @Byron. You can listen to it in full. I never said or insinuated anything about Jim Crow being better. Just was talking about the marriage rates of black families in America during that time period. It's an empirical fact.
You mentioned Jim Crow. Wait a minute. I've watched your video. You mentioned Jim Crow 4 times. One time you referred to families. All families did less. They had higher divorce rates in the 60s and 70s as the nation opened up. This wasn't because of Jim Crow kept blacks scared. Blacks couldn't vote. Those families couldn't go downtown. To in any way infer that the families, black families, were better than Jim Crow. I've said things that I've later said I shouldn't have said it that way.
I've never said that.
Can't you own that even sanitizing Jim Crow, even if that wasn't your intention, was to say, that's my intention, I'm sorry for using those words?
See, this is the thing people need to understand. I'm thinking what the congressman was saying, that, okay, marriage rates were up during Jim Crow, but you also have to realize the times that those were back in those days. Blacks couldn't vote. It was a huge amount of segregation. And this is what people don't understand. People need to do their history. And people tend to throw things out there without stating facts. And this is the problem with people. When you say something like that, it insinuates that blacks were better off back then than what they are now. I understand you talk about, well, the marriage rate was higher during those times. Maybe so, but were blacks even in a better state back then? Hell no. Let's continue.
Well, first of all, I never sanitized Jim Crow. I was just talking about the era in which black marriage rates were higher than they were during the Great Society and every other point in American history.
But why did you say Jim Crow?
Because that's the period of time, Reverend.
The period of time was the 50s, if you wanted to say the 50s.
That's when it happened.
You said Jim Crow.
That's when it happened. Because that was the era in which marriage rates were higher. Look, you had Joe Biden a couple of years ago talking about Jim Crow 2.0, talking about Georgia's law, and he lied. He lied then. So are we not allowed to talk about that era, or only are we allowed to talk about it when we do want to recall all the history of Jim Crow and all the tragedies that occurred during Jim Crow?
If we're going to choose talk which one we're about the era, Congressman, and you name a race-based law, then you cannot take race out of the fact Jim Crow was a law against black people. You weren't just talking about the era.
And see, that's the thing he doesn't understand. It was a law that was against black people. So you can't say the era. Now, if you want, like Al Sharpton said, if you wanted to say the 1950s or the 1940s, he basically, what he said was, yo, Jim Crow around that time, it was much better. No, son. See, this is the problem with a lot of younger people. These people don't understand that what you say will be used not only for you, but against you. And now this is why he's receiving all this backlash. He's receiving all this backlash because you didn't know how to say it. Al Sharpton said it. He said, if you'd have said the 1950s, 1940s, times like that, you don't use a law to say marriage was better. You say a time, a decade. I'm not going to say the 1970s was the best time for this, knowing that it wasn't the best time for this. Let's continue.
Dwight Eisenhower and Harry Truman. You name Jim Crow. There's only one way you could deal with Jim Crow, and that's by race. Look, look, you and I had mutual friends. People say you're a straight shooter. Yes. We may disagree on politics. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But look, you were born in Brooklyn. You went down into the South, went to Florida State. You have an interracial marriage. You're the congressman of a district that's not a black district. How can you even live with yourself acting like Jim Crow was a good era or better era for blacks? What happened to you?
That's real cute. That's real cute. I did not say that. And I'm not going to sit here and have to you because right now you're lying about what I said. I did say Jim Crow. I did reference it 3 times. That's not to say that it was better. I never said that. Those words never came out of my mouth. When are you going to get that through your skull and everybody else's skull? I never said that. And the difference between me and a lot of other Republicans, I'm not going to sit here.
You said it was better for us.
I'm not going to let you
under Jim Crow to bring families together. Did you say that?
Everybody's lying. The Biden campaign lying. All right. Go look at my words.
Well,
go look at my words.
Right. People can look at your
Jim
words.
Crow was better? No, I did not.
You said
I did not say Jim Crow was better. I never said it was good. I did not have nostalgia.
When I heard what you said during Jim Crow, families were more together. Families they were better off doing Jim Crow. That's exactly what you said, Congressman. You said it. I heard it. Al Sharpton heard it. Everybody in the country heard it. It's sad that you won't get that through your thick skull. Now, he gave you an out. He could have said, if you would have said the 1950s or another decade or these things, you would have had an easy out. But you using the word Jim Crow is what got you in this mess that you're in, Congressman. You have to understand that. Let's continue.
Never said any of those things. I was talking about black families and black family marriage rates during that time. Okay. And the
all right, then what did Jim Crow do to contribute to black families?
Good question.
Hello.
Good question.
I'm not talking. Oh my gosh.
You said that you said under Jim Crow black families. So explain to me what Jim Crow did to help black families.
The marriage rates during the Jim Crow era were higher for black families.
They were higher, but they were higher probably before then. That's the thing. They probably were higher before then. So before Jim Crow or after Jim Crow. So you're saying after Jim Crow, the marriage rate went down. So you're basically saying Jim Crow saved black marriages. That's what you're saying. Jim Crow saved black marriages. Congressman, you need to understand the reasons for your words. When you say stuff like this backs you in the corner. But see, they gonna call you everything. They gonna call you the C word. They gonna call you everything. But see, at the end of the day, you put yourself in this corner. Let's continue.
Jim Crow of the Great Society. I did not say that. I said they were, and this is the problem because you're trying to say that I said because of Jim Crow marriages were at a higher rate. I did not say that. I said during. I said during.
But why
I guess
did
we
you
can't refer to
use
time periods
Jim
there,
Crow
Reverend.
was
That
a
don't make no
race law.
sense.
Well, first of all, under Great Society did programs like manpower training, model cities, train young people. HEW didn't do anything about families. It's health, education, welfare. So what are you talking about? They were not the antithesis to marriage. All right, let's go to this. Donald Trump suggested twice just this week that he might seek retribution against political enemies if he's elected president. He also tried to link his legal problems to the injustices African Americans have suffered at the hand of our legal system. Why should black Americans believe that Trump is serious about criminal justice reform when he only seems concerned about it when it applied to him? Oh, you reckon you're from Brooklyn, what he did around the Central Park. You get that he was president when George Floyd was killed by police. He said nothing. Protesters moved from in front of a church, made a speech denouncing the protesters. He has no problem talking about locking up his political opponents or homeless or asylum seekers. but he now wants to act like he's a victim of something. What is your response to that, Congressman?
Well, first of all, during the Trump presidency, he also signed into law reforms to criminal justice reform, the first step back, which actually helped get a lot of people released who were imprisoned under the '94 crime bill that was authored by Joe Biden. One of the worst pieces of crime legislation that's really impacted a lot of people in the black community.
You and I agree on the '94 crime bill. I marched on it, and Joe Biden has said that it went too far. But Donald Trump has not dealt with his own record of discrimination. If you're talking about the two candidates, Donald Trump, unlike Biden, who talked about how the crime bill did go too far, Donald Trump.
Well, they're gonna continue to talk about Biden and the crime law and all those things. You can watch the full interview on MSNBC. But this is the thing that the congressman needs to realize. Your words matter. When you say certain things, you tweet certain things, you say certain things in interviews, even if you didn't mean it, people are going to take what you said and try to convolute it, try to misconstrue it and all these things, but you did that on your own. You didn't have to say Jim Crow. You could have said something else, but you decided to use Jim Crow, and this got you the backlash. And see, the problem is that during that Jim Crow era, you're married to a white woman. You wouldn't be able to marry a white woman during the Jim Crow era. So basically, your marriage wouldn't have been non and void during Jim Crow. So, Congressman, I ask you, why did you do it? Why did you say it? That's the question that everybody has. That's the reason why a lot of people getting on your neck, because you used something that was a really negative part of our history and said this was the best time for black marriages. We know black marriages are decreasing. We know that. But to say that Jim Crow's time was better for marriages than now is ridiculous. I'm just being honest. But it's your boy Jay here with another video. If you like the video, hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button on my road to 5,000 subscribers. Until next time, I'm out.